spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Ooh. If that's not a commercial, I don't know what is. Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Brock, guess what today is?
Hump day!
It is hump day. I know. I'm so excited. What's going on?
You might as well finish the
everybody?
Canoladine commercial. Trycono.com.
Trycono.com.
Wow.
If you do nothing else today for your pain, try Try Cono, CONO.com. I don't even need to tell you why, okay? It freaking works. It works. It takes away your pain. Stop popping pills. Stop looking for your Tylenol or your Advil. Canoladine, natural. It works.
I use it every day on my back
Every
from
day.
carrying her for the show.
Every day. I walked into that.
Yes, you
Mother
did.
crapper. That's so rude. Good morning. What's going on, everybody? How are you? Who do we have? Hey, it's hump day. What's going on, Demanda? Good to see you, sweetheart. Hello, Jones Phones. Hi, Birdie. Hello, Sherry. Hi, John. As Brock would say, Juan. What's going on, Goody? Good morning, honey. It's great to see you.
No one thinks you're funny.
Hi, Wayne. What's going on, Heather? Great to see you guys. Hi, Brenda, baby. And Darius, how you doing, baby? Hi, Omar Bradley.
Jeez.
What? Hi, the R cubed. I don't know. What's going on, Lori? Hi, Lori. Hi, Tiedman. Hi, Dee Dee. What's going on, Dee Dee Bev? And Max Tollenschatten. Great show yesterday. Thank you. And Blizz, yes, it works on your torn shoulder. Yeah, it does. All right, before we get rocking and rolling too much, look, if you're a yo-yo dieter, and I want to put this out there because I need some folks who've been yo-yo dieters in the past, who've lost, gained. It's crappy for you. It makes you feel horrible. If this is you and you're willing to try something new, it is not some, what does they say? It's not, what did he say? Studies show that you can increase your risk of heart attack, of stroke, of type 2 diabetes, and other health problems by being a yo-yo dieter. That's why we're talking about lean, okay? This is something that Rumble has connected us to, and I need people to try it. I want somebody to try it. Take lean.com, use Wendy20 as your promo to save 20%. I want to know about it, all right? Lean is, the science is pretty impressive. They've studied all these natural ingredients, put them together. It's weight loss in 3 powerful ways: maintaining healthy blood sugar, controlling your appetite and your cravings, and then converting fat into energy. That is the thing. So if you're tired of losing weight, gaining it back, do this. Take lean.com and keep in touch with me. I want to know what you're doing. I want to know what you think, right? I'm not obviously taking it, but I want to know who is going to try it and who's going to stick it with me and report back. WendyBellRadio@gmail.com. Like, how many talk radio hosts engage their listeners and say, here's my personal email. If you do this, I want to follow you. Like, nobody cares. We care.
Wow.
Legit, I care. I mean, come on.
The president meets with governor of California at 4 p.m. today.
Nice.
Got the daily press guide.
Did that just come across? Let's see.
No, 6:15 this morning.
6:15.
In the tunnel, poll, Ryers, AP, Reuters, Bloomberg.
Let's see who I have. I don't know if I got that. Daily guidance.
Yeah.
Yes, there we go.
Briefing at 1.
He's going to be with the governor of Texas.
In California.
Then he's going to sign the No Men and Women's Sports executive order into law. It's not complicated. And then he's going to meet with the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. And then you're going to have...
You're fired.
Yeah.
You're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. You're fired.
I just go, what do you think?
Yeah.
Kind of nice. Never going to be yours.
This is exciting. It's exciting, guys.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we are converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Greetings all across the fruited plain and welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. Common sense, conservative values every single day, delivered by a mom. And I say that to you because none of what I said is difficult. None of this is complicated. And the things that we are watching happen in record speed almost has everybody spinning right now. I think most people are looking around, not understanding what they should do. We have been so used to, so conditioned to merely accept not just abject mediocrity in terms of our governance, but absolute failure and fraud and corruption and everything that's terrible, as they then turn around and lie to our faces every day. This is weird. If you feel like that, like you're in the snow globe and somebody's just shaking you up, I feel the same way. We're going to walk through it today. We got lots of things to talk about, not a whole lot of sound, but you're going to hear from President Trump. You're going to hear what he says, what his objectives are as he projects to the world his view for this country. It's called MAGA. Making America Great Again. And if you're on board and you want to take that bread and soak up the gravy, strap in, welcome home. I'm glad you're here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. It's got to be one of the worst jobs in the world. Cleaning out your closet, right? Cleaning out your bedroom closet, going through all of your clothes, right? What do they say? The experts, quote unquote, experts say. If you haven't worn something in your closet in 6 months, just get rid of it because you're not going to. I think that's a little extreme. I mean, I live in a climate where the temperature changes with the seasons quite drastically. But maybe after a year, it's time to get rid of some stuff. So I walked into my twins' bedroom the other day, and it was an absolute disaster. Stuff everywhere. And I feel bad for them. This is tough. Twin beds, nightstand. Boys have lived together ever since they were born, right? Shared the same space. Chris is a lot more orderly, a lot more tidy. His section of the room is just so. You could take masking tape down the middle of the room and right on the other side of it, it's total madness and mayhem because my son Bobby doesn't know how to put things away. And it drives me crazy. So I walked in and I was like, this is too much. Okay. I opened up their closet. All of the hangers are like, rah! You've got too many clothes. You got clothes in here that are like size 10. You guys are 16. You're wearing adult large shirts. Can we get this stuff out of here? And so grumping and kicking stones. They got a bunch of big Glad trash bags. And they got to work. And they started playing music, shut the door, literally didn't see them for the entirety of a Saturday. I think save for them coming out, grabbing a drink and going back in. They were in all day. At the end, I kid you not, there were 17 bags, tall kitchen bags, to the gills packed. It was unbelievable. They had laid them all out in the room, getting ready to take them downstairs, put them in my car, take them out to the disabled veterans drop box. And I walked into their room and they were both like, how you doing? I'm like, wow, how does this feel? Changes your world, ladies and gentlemen. Just getting the clutter out, being able to open up something and see what you have, being able to see some kind of order, things perhaps color coordinated or organized according to season or what have you. It does something to you. When you wake up and you're organized for your day, maybe you're even ahead of the game. You got something you got to do today, but you've already done it. You're like, all right, your day's off to the right start. Conversely, when you're absolutely swallowed and you can't make any progress, it is perhaps the most defeating and depressing feeling of blech. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is taking out the trash. He's gotten those tall bags and he's walked into every single federal bureaucracy where he has appointed a cadre of soldiers. You're in charge. You're the first lieutenant, whatever the hell it is, go. And they're taking out the garbage. Now, when you give 2 million federal employees the ability to check out by saying, look, here's what we're doing as a country. This is the vote that mandate the landslide. This is what the American people want. I'm the president. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. If you're cool with that and you're excited by that and you can't wait to wake up in the morning and you're going to come in on time, you're going to show up on the job and you're going to be the best, whatever you are, every single day, I'm honored to have you. If you don't think you're down with that and you're not willing to do all the things that I just said, no hard feelings. Let me make this easy for you. I'm going to give you 8 months pay, all benefits and pay. And then you can move along and find a job that fancies you better. Okay? How about that? Does that sound fair to you? Does that sound exciting to you? Does that sound like a way to go through every single shelf and every single hanger, to go through the dreaded socks, of which I don't know how my sons have hundreds of pairs, and paring it down to the absolute bare minimum of the best and the finest and the most comfortable garments you enjoy wearing. Whew. It is exciting. There's a lot of fear, though. Because if you listen to the media, what Elon Musk, who's been granted some authority by the president to have access to certain things without making him a de facto government employee. This idea that what Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency are trying to do to pare down, to weed out, to organize, to streamline, to make effective what has been a slovenly and sluggish and suck bureaucratic monstrosity. It makes you feel kind of incredulous, like you've been a wounded animal, a kicked dog, and you're so used to getting kicked that you flinch before the move is made. And then somebody comes and opens up the cage, and they're not there to hit you. They're there to set you free. You don't know what to do. I've been disappointed so many times. You've let me down, government bureaucracy, so many times. I'm almost hesitant to believe that what we all just got through, 4 years of fraud and filth and felons running our federal government, we're almost afraid to walk out. Because I'm not so sure we can be disappointed again. But I believe in my heart that you're not going to be. I believe that your life is going to make so much more sense. I believe that each of us is going to have financial breathing room. I believe we're going to unwind the tragic teachings that we've foisted upon America's children. I believe the new day, this golden age, this grand enlightenment and awakening is going to be a return to the traditional values that our founding fathers espoused when they signed those documents. So if you're kind of out there wondering which way is up, what do I believe? How's this going to happen? Give it a little bit of time. Don't listen to the media. Follow the White House. Pay attention to their communications. Pay attention to what Donald Trump posts on Truth Social. He's telling you and the world every single move. Because at the end of this isn't just a clean closet. Isn't just orderly shelves and hangers that all make sense. At the end of it all, there is peace. That is the point. When we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio program, Donald Trump said something so interesting yesterday when Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was here. And he said something about Gaza, and everybody picked up on it, and they started going nutty. Well, I'm going to tell you what he said, and I'm going to tell you why it's so significant. It has to do with Gaza. And I got it for you, and so much more. Don't miss a minute. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Do you know what you just described?
Oh, boy.
No. And I didn't even think about it until I heard the monologue. It's called Plato Allegory of the Cave. To a T. I don't know.
You're worried about getting out because you see the shadows and the flames.
Yeah,
and
all
like
these people are chained, and the guy goes out and is like, "Come on back out!" And they're like, "No,
yeah,
I'm afraid of what's out there." And he's like, "There's nothing out there. You're free to." And they won't. They stay chained because they're comfortable in their ignorance.
I could see it.
Yeah, when you started the monologue, I'm like, this sounds a lot like, because it's one of the few stories that I remember from.
Hey, something that Brock and I can agree on, and we agree on it every day because we both use it, is Healthy Cell. If you use my name at healthycell.com/Wendy, you're going to get 20% off. Look, it's an innovative way, a very common sense, understandable, reasonable way for you to get supplements, be it for your hair, skin, and nails, your cardiovascular health, your overall immune system, your eye health, your ability to relax and deal with stress and anxiety, falling asleep, your ability to focus, right? And then the bioactive multivitamin, which is just great to fill in all the gaps that are missing in your diet. getting them in a gel pack form where you tear off the top and just suck it in, it's a very interesting way, much more absorbable way for your body to get vitamins, minerals, and supplements. I love it. I swear by it. I use it every day. So does Brock. It's easy. Healthycell.com/Wendy. Healthycell.com/Wendy. It is heart health month. So you might consider their cardiovascular heart supplement. Oh, formulas are phenomenal. You're going to love them. Game-changing part of my life, without a question.
I did not take a REM last night.
Oh, you did not? How did you do?
Horrible.
Did you really?
I didn't fall asleep till 9 o'clock.
Oh, that's terrible.
And then I woke up at 11.
Oh.
And fell back asleep probably 1 o'clock.
This is the one he takes. You take it, 20 minutes before you go to bed.
I'm addicted. If I could mainline that.
Yeah, it is. I've done it a couple times. I usually have no problem with that. I have other issues. That's not one of them.
Well, you got issues.
I'm clearly aware of that fact.
Yeah.
But I've used it once or twice, and it's absolutely undeniable.
If I could only take one.
Yes. That would probably be. Mine would be Focus.
I take
Focus all the time because I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, ew.
I take the multi-bio and the immune support when I get it.
Yes. Oh, Jesus.
Should we do winning?
It's unbelievable. Yes.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy. Young man, there's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. This was pretty big news in the last several hours. Donald Trump saying the United States will take over the Gaza Strip to rebuild it. Everybody in this in this press briefing with Benjamin Netanyahu were like, what? Wait a minute, what did he say? Well, you said the United States can go in there into Gaza and we could take care of all of the munitions that haven't yet detonated that make it a complete minefield for anybody who's there. Yeah. Are we talking about the same Gaza that's complete destruction, all the buildings that are precariously? Yeah, he said. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that, and we can create a place in the Middle East that is peaceful and welcoming and wonderful and inviting to all. This is a Donald Trump with a legacy. This isn't just Donald Trump looking at you. And I've met the guy. I've shaken his hand. I've looked into his eyes. And when he goes places and he sees things, whether it's destruction in North Carolina, or it's the border debacle in Texas or Arizona, or it's the fires in California, when he looks at you and talks to you, it's weird. You feel like you're the only one in the room and that he understands and that he cares. It's weird. We cannot get used to a government that is unresponsive, a government that stonewalls, a government that insulates itself with multiple layers of fraud, a government that spends our money and just keeps asking for more, but not even asking, just taking. It's unacceptable. And for Donald Trump to put out there, not only am I going to take this chasm, that the identity politics of the left and the demonizing, quite frankly, of the January Sixers on that very day. They drove a wedge in this country, and you had to choose, where were you? Where were you? And the divide got bigger and bigger, and the left got more progressive and angrier and more demanding and more ridiculous. And we over on the other side didn't really feel like we were extreme at all. Like, what I want is basic. It's reasonable. It's not crazy. You're crazy. Donald Trump doesn't just want to bridge that. He doesn't just want to make that fit together again. He wants to extend to the world this idea that harmony is possible, that you can live and you can be prosper and you can dream and you can work and you can achieve, and you don't always have to look over your back, over your shoulders, in order to get to that somewhat utopian dreamscape, which Donald Trump views as being totally within grasp. We have to identify the darkness. We have to expose the pedophiles, because that is really what it's all about. I want you to hear what Donald Trump said yesterday. This is what caught everybody off guard. It was kind of a almost flippant comment, but as I noticed him speaking at his podium next to Benjamin Netanyahu with the flag for Israel and the U.S. flag there, he was reading notes. He had ideas jotted down. This wasn't just some fly-by-night thing. Listen.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
Holy cow. This wasn't just Trump weaving, right? He's known to weave. He tells stories and brings them together with one thread. That wasn't a weave. That was a dream. And he floated it out there so that you might invest in that dream. Because we've stopped dreaming. America has stopped working. America has stopped believing. We've stopped living. Marco Rubio tweeted this out. Gaza must be free from Hamas. As POTUS shared today, the United States stands ready to lead and make Gaza beautiful again. Our pursuit is one of lasting peace in the region for all people. Peace through strength. This is the dawn of that new day. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Democrats in total panic after their horrifying money laundering scheme called USAID. Further is revealed. Buckle up next. Sorry, I kind of got carried away on that one. I was dreamscaping myself. I've like journeyed off into another land. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'm on live radio.
So Demanda said she'd be so starstruck to meet Donald Trump. That's Wendy's point. You aren't. I was there. Like, dude, you don't feel that way at all. You feel like you belong. You
I
feel
desperately wanted to hug him.
Yes.
I really was like,
when he turns,
like when I see a baby, I'm like.
And I always say that when I tell the story about meeting Donald Trump, you always hear, he has his guys saying, Wendy Bell, Brock from Wendy Bell Radio.
He knows who we are.
I get that.
Yeah.
You know, but when he mentions the interview that he'd done a couple days ago, this is a guy who does
Great interview.
interviews.
That's what he said. Great interview. I went back and I listened to our interview with him and what he says at the end, where he's like, "Great job, Wendy.
Yeah.
Great job." I was like,
he doesn't make you feel like you're invading his space.
No. He makes it
There's
seem
something
like
about
this,
him.
Yes, this is
it's
shared
very
space.
welcoming.
Yes.
Very welcoming.
Yes. It's sort of like when you meet me.
And don't be surprised too. Like behind this Gaza thing, there are ports there. There is oil.
Oh, the natural
ports,
resources.
national
and
resources that go through Gaza. So
There's
don't
a
be
lot
surprised
there.
that that's all there too.
That's a lot there.
Yeah.
But I mean, anyway, I agree with you, Brock. Hey, well, let me tell you quickly about Dr. Lakey. Please, I did just recently watch the entire 20-minute video that Dr. Lakey puts out when he talks about this product that he uses for his patients to erase the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles around your eyes, on your forehead, around your mouth. And it's a 20-minute video. It is so instructive. And he explains exactly what he did to stumble upon this and to begin making it in quantity. And he says, look, I want you to try it. And if you try it and you use it and you don't love it, 60 days, you don't even have to send it back to me. We'll refund your money. I'm that confident that you're going to like it. BHMD1.com/Wendy. Beverly Hills MD #1.com/Wendy. I use it every daggone day. And I create the illusion of fabulosity and youth and just, fantasticness. Anywho, good talk.
The Gaza thing is, you have to love what he did too.
Yeah.
He totally took the Donald Trump hates everybody. They didn't know. Joy Reid didn't know what to do because hear what he says. Let's get these so these people can move back there. Well, we need to get the government out. Let's keep them safe. People need to start. They had no thing
that means
to
getting
say.
USAID out of the way.
He totally took their gun away from them.
Yes.
Of he doesn't care about the Palestinians. He's like, no, I care about them and they can live there too.
Yes. Oh, by the way, have you read about Hamas killing the people, the guys who were having gay sex with some of the October 7th hostages? Apparently, they were raping some of the men, not just the women. And there were dozens of Hamas underlings who were supposed to be monitoring the hostages who were raping them. And then Hamas leadership just came out and exterminated all of those Hamas guys. So if you're gay and you're wearing one of those Palestinian scarf things chanting death to Israel, just know that you'd be somebody they would put a gun in, a bullet
If
in.
you're supporting trans,
They're
they
not
ain't for you.
They're not for you. So you can go out there and expose how completely ill-informed you are. And that would be the case. Ireland contracting, you guys, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. IrelandContracting.com. I love crisp, beautiful home exteriors, right? When you see a bad roof and then you see a new roof put on, or you see siding that's like, or you see a house that needs a facelift and all of a sudden this beautiful new siding goes on, or your neighbor gets all new windows, it changes everything. And the before, the after pictures from Ireland Contracting are fantastic. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Southwestern Pennsylvania's home exterior remodeling experts. IrelandContracting.com, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. These are my people. I use them. And they're great. And they can't wait for your call. Do it.
And for the people that say Hamas is in our fight, isn't that exactly Gaza and Hamas is in our fight? But I agree, but to a certain extent, because it's now here.
Oh, yeah.
So
Joe Biden welcomed that.
Yes.
I mean, they were here before then, but God, that's bad coffee. I need to make an order with Crescent Mountain coffee. You guys,
you've
again,
been saying that
I know,
for weeks.
again,
So like at this point, I just
again,
it's like government.
if you have a coffee snob in your life, do yourself a favor. Just go to crescentmountaincoffee.com and get our coffee. I have nothing to do with it. It's Jim at Crescent Mountain. It's phenomenal.
Oh, you're not making
You'll
it?
never want anything other than this. I'm telling you. We get 10% of the sales and we give that away. It's just damn good coffee. Wow. CrescentMountainCoffee.com. You know, this USAID, CIA front, money laundering, foreign influence peddling, regime change making, dirtbag slush fund that you and I pay for to the tune of $50 billion a year. We could do an entire program just on this disgusting organization, okay? This entity that believes as the blob that it is above all oversight. Oh, you don't have to worry about that, senators. Yeah, not so fast. Because Elon Musk, President Trump, and his cabinet are keenly aware of what's been going on with this organization. And I want to read you on the Daily Wire. This is a subscription-based service. Matt Walsh, perhaps one of my favorite writers. He's phenomenal. He did a story on USAID, and he goes back to the early 2010s to show how this organization that you, again, and I fund, meddled in Cuba. All right. And then he brings it full circle to slap you in the face with. And these are the morons who run counter to our Secretary of State, our State Department's projected objectives internationally, which would be to always represent the best interests of the United States. This is what the headline is. Democrats panic after their horrifying money laundering scheme was revealed. And Matt puts in here, he says, this is Enron level accounting. And we've been tolerating it for decades. It's important you know this. As Twitter began to gain popularity about 15 years ago, millions of people in Cuba were looking for a similar website that they could use to send short messages to the world. It was difficult to access Twitter itself because Cuba's communist government restricted internet access, so there was a big untapped market there. Well, fortunately for Cubans, an alternative quickly emerged. It was called Zonzanio, which is Cuban. I apparently said it. I don't know if I said it wrong. Zonzanio. It's Cuban expression. It's supposed to sound like the noise a hummingbird makes. So we had Twitter, and they had a knockoff called Zonzanio. Now, even though it was a pretty cheap knockoff, however, this application quickly became popular. It gained tens of thousands of users in Cuba in a matter of months. The creators of the app had obtained a list of 500,000 Cuban cell phone numbers from somewhere, presumably the black market. So they were able to pitch the program directly to users. And cell phones were the key to the whole business model. Zonzanio was able to evade Cuba's internet restrictions because it relied entirely on text messages and cellular services. After just a couple years, though, in service, Zonzanio apparently just abruptly disappeared. It went offline without any warning whatsoever. Nobody had any idea what happened to it. And it wasn't until several years later that we learned the truth because of an investigation that was published by the Associated Press. Well, it turns out that Zonzanio was secretly created by the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. Yes, the U.S. government's International Development Agency had created a social media app in Cuba without telling anybody in this country or in Cuba. Nobody knew. In response to this reporting, the White House spokesman at the time, Carney is his name, Jay Carney, claimed that it was all a big misunderstanding. He said everything is above board. U.S. aid is all about helping other countries. We were just helping Cuba out. What's the problem with that, essentially? Well, as it turns out, even if you assume that the U.S. should be helping out foreign countries by sending them our taxpayer money, which we obviously should not be doing, there are still major problems here. Here's a big one. According to the Associated Press, the estimated $1.6 million spent on Zanzanio was publicly earmarked for an unspecified project in Pakistan. But those documents don't reveal where the funds were actually spent. In other words, it was fraud. Congress authorized the money to go to Pakistan. The president signed an appropriations bill sending the money to Pakistan. And the money did not go to Pakistan. Instead, it went to Cuba. American voters were told that the money was going to one place, it went to another. And there's a very clear reason why USAID might have been interested in lying about where the money was going, which is this. The point of spending the money was not to develop Cuba. The point was to overthrow Cuba's government. From the Associated Press, U.S. aid and its contractors went to extensive lengths to conceal Washington's ties to the project, according to interviews and documents obtained by the AP. They set up front companies in Spain and the Cayman Islands to hide the money trail. And they recruited CEOs without telling them that they would be working on a U.S. taxpayer-funded project. Eventually, they hoped the network would reach critical mass so that dissidents could organize smart mobs or mass gatherings called at a moment's notice that could trigger political demonstrations or renegotiate the balance of power between the state and society. You guys, that's some nefarious thinking on the part of USAID. And this was 15 years ago. Now, hearing this, you can't help but think about all the smart mobs that the government has probably worked to organize in this country. This is clearly what our intelligence agencies are good at. They launder money with the goal of overthrowing governments with color revolutions all the time, whether it's in Ukraine or it's in Cuba or it's on the steps of the Supreme Court after the Dobbs decision. They launder the money this way. But you're supposed to think they would never do the same thing here in the United States. They'd never say stoke racial tensions so that half the country's lit on fire in the name of racial equity, right? Well, in this particular case, though, the U.S. government got caught. And that led to some embarrassment among Democrats. For example, one prominent Democrat, Patrick Leahy of Vermont, asked USAID, what in heaven's name are you thinking? If you're going to do a covert operation like this for a regime change, assuming it ever makes any sense, it's not something that should be done through USAID. So he gave them a finger wagging, and then nothing happened. USAID suffered no consequences whatsoever. So Matt Walsh on the Daily Wire brings all of this up because it's just one of many egregious examples of how USAID has been operating with total impunity over the past several decades. This is an agency that JFK created by executive order, in fact, during the Cold War to help fight the spread of communism. Then Congress formally established USAID with a law called the Foreign Assistance Act. And ever since then, the agency has steadily grown and spent more and more taxpayer dollars overseas. And like all government programs, it's simply consumed more and more resources over time, like cancer, with no sign of ever going away. There is zero accountability for any of this spending. This is Enron level accounting, and we've been tolerating it for decades. If Americans knew what was happening, they'd overwhelmingly oppose all of it. And don't we? Supposedly all of this money that's been going to Ukraine has been going through USAID, going to an economic support fund to pay the pensions and the salaries of Ukrainian government bureaucrats. That's the stated reason, which is bad enough. But almost certainly, they're also laundering a lot of that money to promote propaganda for the war effort there. This level of fraud is hard to comprehend. Just imagine auditing a $39 billion economic support fund for Ukraine, but there are no line items. So you can only kind of Imagine it. Isn't it interesting that Vladimir Zelensky came out last week and he said, look, you guys say you've given us $177 billion. I've gotten about $76 billion. Where's the other 100, guys? Again, this has been going on for a very long time. As far back as 2017, Congressman Francis Rooney pointed out that USAID was subsidizing the World Economic Forum for no apparent reason. Yeah, let's just get this straight. We are paying globalist billionaires with our tax money. You never voted for that. Congress never authorized it. But it happened. And no one ever put an end to this slush fund. So it just grew bigger and bigger and bigger. The other day, the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, outlined a small percentage of where some of this USAID money is going. It's absolutely ludicrous and insulting. And as bad as those items were, they obviously sound really bad and are. The truth is probably much worse than this. It's the federal government saying that they're spending your money to make gay comics in Peru. It's the federal government saying that they dropped $70,000 to promote DEI in Irish theaters. That's what they're claiming. But remember, they have no problem lying about all of this. So the chances are pretty high that in reality, all of this money actually went to some coup attempts that we know nothing about, and we likely will never learn about. In a previous era, this would be called a constitutional crisis. A federal agency has gone rogue. They're spending money that Congress and the voters have not authorized them to spend. And on top of that, none of this is a good idea anyway, since we're the only country on the planet that routinely dishes out huge amounts of money like this to foreign governments. We should not be giving a single penny of American tax dollars to any foreign government anywhere. But we're doing a lot more than that. And so now finally, the Trump administration is putting an end to it. The USAID website was taken offline. USAID workers weren't allowed in the building, and Trump and Elon Musk have agreed that the agency should be shut down. In response, Democrats are freaking in a way that they haven't panicked about anything else Trump has done. They're extremely animated over the collapse of an agency that funnels money overseas without accounting for any of the spending. It's almost as if they've been benefiting in some way from this spending. And you know darn well that they have. So remember, the Department of Government Efficiency, it's gone from a meme now to an existential threat to entrenched government corruption. And now, much more rapidly than we thought possible, that corruption is finally being exposed, humiliated, and thoroughly destroyed. They're taking out the trash. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Donald Trump announces the investigation into gross fraud and malfeasance in that California high-speed rail system. And when asked if Elon Musk is going to be the guy who digs into it, oh boy, wait for his answer. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I think of all things that I've read, that best summarizes one example of what they did, ostensibly to do something, but really to organize these crowds on demand, right? And we had the crowds on demand owner guy on, and he's like, look, I'm not the one who's supplying people for these campus rallies. That's not me. And I was like, fair enough. I'm glad that you're here telling us what the story is. But this stuff is happening, these color revolutions. Tell me, how else, Brock, when they dropped the Dobbs decision, how did they have protesters with fake fetuses and red blood all over their crotches, all over the Supreme Court? It was amazing, wasn't it?
Because we know that that's what the Democrats do. The playbook never changes.
But just like the pipe bomber.
The playbook never changes.
Just like the pipe bomber, they're like, we don't know who it possibly could have been at the Supreme Court. I'm like, there are 97 people who have access to things.
And they can't find it.
I'm pretty sure you can. It's sort of like we have no idea whose baggie that is.
They
Brock.
can hunt people down from January 6th, grandmas
like
from their
right
phone.
on flipping rice.
But we can't find out through government computers and IP addresses who leaked the decision. Please. We found out that they had gay sex
And
in
took
the Senate
pictures of it.
chambers.
And took pictures of
And
it. The
took
senators
pictures.
were like, look, let's try not to do that again.
Yeah.
We were like, say what? All right, so if you're a big sports drinker to get your electrolytes, if you're a heavy exerciser or you're doing something or your kids are playing sports and you're like, you know what, I got to make sure they're getting their electrolytes because let's be honest, electrolytes are the key to hydration. That's why I love Native Hydrate from Native Path. First of all, Native Path, great company. Everything they touch, I enjoy immensely. This product is special. It's a scoop in cool water. You drink it down and it creates this force field around you that takes hydration and sends it to your cells where they need to be. It's branched chain amino acids and it's electrolytes and it's a powerful elixir and it feels so great. It's amazing when you don't have some of the symptoms. You don't get the cramps. You don't get the headaches. Your heart rate and your rhythm stay steady. Your blood pressure is stable. Your bones and your teeth are healthy. You have muscle and nerve function that are supported. And you get nutrients into your cells and you get the wastes out. nativehydrate.com/Wendy. 44% off for you right now. I love it. Duh. How about that? That's what I'm sticking to. I'm drinking it today too. Peach mango. It is delicious. It is delicious. It's one of those things where you're like, I'm drinking water anyway. I'm just going to put a scoop in my water bottle and shake it up. And then you're like, dang. See, if you drink it, you too will be this fabulous. Wow.
Oh.
13.8. Holy moly. What's up, guys? Are we being boosted?
I don't know. My computer completely shut down.
I like being boosted. That sounded a little creepy.
243. Let's go.
Can we get 3? I mean, it's a lot. We need 500 people to click the thumbs up button underneath my fabulosity. Can you guys make that happen?
We are being boosted.
Hey.
So tell them who we are.
Hey, we're Wendy Bell Radio. So we're we're a national radio program, but we're also live streamed on Rumble. And coming up here in 8 minutes, we're also carried on Newsmax's N2 channel. But if you're here with us, hang out for a little bit. Common sense conservative values. I think you're going to like it. Duh.
Oh.
Give me a good one.
Wow.
So this is interesting. If I was Gavin Newsom right now, I would be so sphinctered up. I'd be like, This is just a great headline. This is on Breitbart today. Trump rips California high-speed rail, sets up fight with Gavin Newsom. Wait, what? I was talking to my dad about this. So, I'm from California. My parents or my dad still lives there. My sister and her family still live there. And we were talking about some of this ridiculous stuff, this high-speed rail, this boondoggle. This is like the bridge to nowhere. It's so dumb. How wasteful. Like in one project, if you were to write suck on something, just be like, that would be it in California. In addition to not having any water, because that makes sense. President Trump ripped California's high-speed rail project Tuesday during impromptu remarks with journalists in the Oval Office, saying that he intended to order an investigation into the long-delayed train. Trump made his remarks in responding to a question about Elon Musk's efforts to root out the waste in government. He said, I'd like to see what the kickbacks in USAID are. How much money's been kicked back? Who would spend that kind of money to some of the things that you read about? I read about. I see in the night and in the news and every morning when I read the papers. I would say this. This is Trump speaking. The people who got all that money, are they kicking it back to the people that gave it from the government? That to me, it's very, very corrupt. And the real question is how much of a kickback has there been? Trump obviously knows. One of the things he says, I want to investigate rapidly because I've never seen anything to this extent. This train project. I want to look into this. Well, let's listen to what the president himself said. Here it is.
One of the things I want to investigate rapidly, because I've never seen anything to this extent, the train that's being built between Los Angeles and San Francisco is the worst managed project I think I've ever seen, and I've seen some of the worst. Billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars over budget. In fact, I read where you could take every single person that was going to go on the train and get the finest limousine service in the world and take them back and forth with limousines, and you'd have hundreds of billions of dollars left over. It is the worst thing, and we're going to start an investigation of that because it's not possible. I built for a living, and I built on time, on budget. It's impossible that something could cost that much. And now it's not even going to San Francisco, and it's not going to Los Angeles. They made it much shorter. So now it's at little places way away from San Francisco and way away from Los Angeles. No, we're going to start a big investigation on that because I've never seen anything like it. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. The worst overruns that there have ever been in the history of our country.
Absolutely. And asked, this is the part that I just was like, oh, asked whether Musk's Department of Government Efficiency would investigate California's high-speed rail project. Trump replied, no, I'll be doing that myself. Daddy's home. Oh my goodness. Right? I'm tingly. Look, we can say all day long that the people of California get what they deserve, that they get what they vote for. But I got to tell you, if you're not voting for it, if your friends aren't voting for it, if the majority of people in your state aren't voting for it, and it continues year after year after year with an election system that is abjectly horrendous, that took a month to figure out its voting before it decided how many seats it flipped in the House, please. California has to be turned upside down. California must have voter ID. That is the only way for any of this grift to end. Can you imagine the president's meeting today at 4 p.m. with Gavin Newsom? Can you imagine what's going to be said? I'm curious, Gavin, about the accounting. A lot of this development has been going on since 2019 when you were elected governor. So clearly you have the documents and the receipts. You can tell us where the money went because the United States and California taxpayers want to know. Now, Gavin Newsom is going to have a choice. He's either going to admit that they've been spending money in California the same way USAID has been spending it in a federal national way, or he's going to be able to provide the documents. Now, which scenario do you believe is most likely? Because I don't see Gavin Newsom providing much, if ever any, documentation of his fraud and waste in that state. Is the water on? When we come back, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program, cleaning house, my friends. The Wall Street Journal with a report. The CIA offers a buyout to its entire workforce. What? Oh boy. Buckle up. It's next on the Wendy Bell radio program.
So I tell you that I listen to Brian D. Wright's podcast every morning. And sometimes it's half hour. He's great. Former CIA. He brought that up today on his podcast. And he's like, as a former CIA guy, I would recommend that some of my former colleagues take that buyout. That tells you right there how, I don't want to say corrupt, because you're lumping everybody. That just tells you the mindset maybe of the CIA right now and where it's headed and where it's been. Yeah, that's a
You know what they need? I'm going to tell you, they want a little Chuck Norris on their side. If you're in the CIA right now and you feel like you're going to get a roundhouse, man, you're getting it to the face. And this is real. All right. Chuck Norris's from Roundhouse Provisions Morning Kick. And it is a morning kick. You don't have to drink it in the morning. And look, you're like, you got a lot of different drinks. I do. And they all kind of do different things. I know a bunch of you drink all of them. I've gotten your emails. Wendy, I drink this in the morning, and then after lunch, I've got this, and in the afternoon when I blah, blah, blah. I love this whole idea of giving you this kick, this boost, this jolt. That's what you get when you drink. chuckdefense.com/Wendy. But you get more than that. You get something that I think is more valuable. And it's this idea that you're not going to slow down and crash during the day. You've got the stamina to go forward, whether you're doing a heavy workout, whether you're going for a long walk in the neighborhood or a jog, whether you need to be focused on the job, whatever it is, you get to focus and do it and get through it, and you get a jolt. I love it. chuckdefense.com/Wendy. Try it. Try it. Try it. It's fantastic. And I should say, this is the last day of this flash promotion. Our friends at switchwithwendy.com are giving us 1 day of this $1 flash promotion that you can join us in our club, where we've moved our money away from all the big name companies and we've stopped supporting Unilever and Johnson & Johnson and Procter & Gamble that give money and jack up their prices and give money to Black Lives Matter and transgender this and blah, 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 that. I'm done. I'm done. There's other makers of other products out there that we can all be buying, and we found one. Family, faith, and freedom-based, based in Idaho. Switchwithwendy.com. $1 for the rest of the year for you to join us. It's life-changing. It's life-changing. And it's awesome. Switchwithwendy.com.
Can I say the $1 is a great deal?
Oh my God.
But let's be honest. I think after the year, it's what, $19? For all these people who complain about the price of eggs going up, like all the liberals, the price of eggs? You people spend $8 for a cup of coffee. It's burnt Starbucks.
Yeah. I don't like their coffee.
Neither do I.
It is burned. You're right. You're right. It's weird. It's got a flavor that's just, it's too much. I'm like, the best coffee ever is always at a highbrow Italian restaurant.
Or Crescent Mountain Coffee.
Or Crescent Mountain. But if you're going to go out and be served it, for some reason, Italian,
it's not
like
coming
white
in a plastic cup or a paper cup. It's not. But that's why I hear the amount of money people that are complaining about the cost of things. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to pay $9 for a carton of eggs. But I can say I waste money on a lot of stupid shit that I wouldn't necessarily do if the cost of eggs got to the point where. But these people, who was it? Rush that called them limousine liberals.
I don't know. 150 people to get to 3.
They complain about the cost of everything as they're holding their Starbucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's amazing. If you've ever had so for instance, the first time I got fired, and I got fired from a very high paying television job. It's funny, for the first year after that, I mean, literally full stop, all extras were done. All extras were done. It is truly remarkable when you want to live on the cheap, how you can do it. You can. I mean, it takes work, but it's totally doable. And we did it. And we did it for several years. It's interesting when you've gone through all of this spectrum of where you've been. Like, we're going to emerge from this awful chapter, this malaise that we're exiting of Joe Biden. And I think a lot of people are just trepidatious. Like, is it really going to get that much better? I really do believe. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be great. 14,300 people sucked in by my fabulosity. But this program and what we talk about is going to keep you here. I guarantee it. 1:45 before we come back, and I'm desperate. We have 2.94. How you doing? 60 people. You can make me so happy. What are you doing?
Manufacturing has begun. I just got a text.
Oh, I have to call Cindy. Cindy, I'm going to call you later. We have to talk merch. We're going to reorder our hoodies. We got great hoodies. Oh my God. They're like buttery. Literally, they're
woozy.
They're woozy and buttery. And you're just
I knew
like,
you were going to say woozy.
They feel so snuggly. My kids hate that when I say cozy or toasty. They're like, oh, it's so gross. Stop it.
Unless you're talking about their sheets.
So I talk about that all the time. I'm like, ooh, this fireplace is so toasty and cozy. And Chris shoots me a look and I'm like, how you doing? Do you want to come snuggle with mom? 6'4". No. Okay. You guys did it, didn't you? Here we go. Look, 303. I love you. Me loves.
I just texted you.
Nice. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's really neato. Oh, that's neat. We're going to have such cool stuff for you in the spring as we're emerging from the slumber of darkness. We're going to give you great stuff. And it's going to be elegant. It's going to be elegant. And the clothes are going to be beautiful. And they're going to cost $1 million.
Like me.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it.
Donald Trump has been indicted by a grand jury in New York for his alleged hush money payment.
A grand jury indicted former President Donald Trump on state charges stemming from his efforts to overturn Joe Biden's victory.
Breaking news, the federal indictment against Donald Trump, all related to his handling of classified documents after leaving office.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
And then I take in this White House, we're going to fight like hell, I'll tell you right now.
It's about how much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program on the clock. You know how you feel when you've got a major project to do. You look in your garage and you're like, oh my gosh. At least once a year, I look at the garage and I'm like, I can't do it anymore. It's so disgusting. Like I can compartmentalize and I can stuff things over here and we can pretend la, la, la. And then ultimately you get to a point and you're like, I can't. It's bothering me. I wake up and I think about what I need to do. And then you finally do it. You take the cars out, you get rid of all the bicycles, you put them in the driveway, you sweep everything out, all the leaves and the spiders and the yuck, and you just start pitching stuff. You're like, look, kids haven't used this in 25 years. Let's go. Get it out of here, right? This is what President Trump and this administration are doing to all of the bureaucratic alphabet agencies. Absolutely, unequivocally, without a doubt. And this is the beautiful part about it. If you don't want to be here, if you're not down with what we're doing, you shouldn't want to be here. You shouldn't want to be a part of this process. It's gotten so flippin' cushy. The average salary in the federal government is over 6 figures. Do you guys know how hard it is to fire someone who's in that whole bureaucracy, who's a federal employee? It takes like 18 months. Wait, what? We have the most sluggish, bloated, incompetent, corrupt federal government ever. And Donald Trump and all of his people are coming in and saying, no, I don't think so. And I love this story out of the Wall Street Journal today. Here's your headline. CIA offers buyout to entire workforce as part of a Trump makeover. The spy agency's workforce receives buyout style offer. None of this is done spitefully. This is this new administration saying to the old guard, we're going to make it easy for you. But if you don't want to be here and you don't love America and you're not down with what we're doing, respectfully, get out. We're going to make it easy for you. And the deadline is coming up. You have, as federal workers now, until midnight tonight. You're going to take it? You're going to go with it? You're going to do it? Or are you going to get replaced? Because it seems like that's what's going to happen. The CIA offered buyouts to its entire workforce Tuesday in what officials said is a bid to bring the agency in line with President Trump's priorities, including targeting drug cartels. The CIA appeared to be the first intelligence agency to tell its employees that they can quit their jobs and receive about 8 months of pay and benefits as part of Trump's push to downsize the federal government. It is what Elon Musk did as he walked into the officers of Twitter carrying a sink. Do you see the imagery? We're throwing all of it out, including the kitchen sink. The offer last month made to most civilian federal agencies exempted some categories of federal workers, including those with national security roles. Well, the CIA is also freezing the hiring of job seekers already given a conditional offer, an aide to CIA Director John Radcliffe said. Some are likely to be rescinded if the applications or the applicants don't have the right background for the agency's new goals. Makes sense. Which also include Trump's trade war and undermining China, the aide said. So across government agencies, overall interest in the deferred resignation offer appears to be kind of low. Career coaches focused on federal workers say, citing conversations with more than 100 people. Many have questions about whether they're legally able to take another job during the payout period or whether they can return to the government under a future administration, these people said. What a sweetheart deal. Any of the job detours I got were on the dime. You're fired. There wasn't like, why didn't you hang out for a while? We're going to fund your 401k. Those health benefits that you have, don't worry about those. We're totally going to work on those for you. Take your time. Make sure you find something that you find really meaningful. We're there for you, Wendy.
I got fired in about 7 minutes. And that started with me saying,
oh, that's funny.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Texting you, I'm getting fired. That was including all that.
And you got fired because of me. Oh, my goodness. I wish I worked for the government. And they were like, you know what about that? Not so fast. So anyway, we're finding out that so the whole CIA, all of the people in the CIA, you're able to bail. All right. Here's your little golden parachute for a brief time. 8 months, full benefits for those time. That's a great offer, right? That's a great offer. I worked for a TV station that I left. I got fired from, and they were pretty vindictive about it too. I had to hassle at the unemployment office. They tried to deny me unemployment pay. Isn't that amazing? The force of suck can run deep with people, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I want to see this. How many federal workers have taken the Trump administration up on this offer? Apparently, according to the Epoch Times, the number as of the recent few hours, more than 20,000 federal workers have taken this buyout offer. And a surge is expected before the February 6th deadline. So at midnight tonight, right, you've got what? 14 more hours. They expect there's going to be an onslaught of people who take this up. I want you to hear how just a lowball number of 20,000 employees leaving early, what this means to us. All right, you ready? More than 20,000 federal workers have accepted Trump's buyout offer since last week, and officials expect many more before the February 6th deadline. On background, I can tell you the 20,000 number, it's not current. This person said the number of deferred resignations is rapidly growing, and we're expecting the largest spike to come 24 to 48 hours before the deadline. So right about now. The official was responding to a report by Axios. So apparently there are 2.3 million civilian federal workers, the vast majority of whom are in the career service. So they enjoy multiple regulatory protections. Under the current system, more than 18 months on average are required to terminate such a worker. But the actual time involved can easily stretch significantly longer. Is there anything involving the government that isn't laborious, outrageously expensive, and completely counterintuitive to anything common sense? Right? Just saying. The average federal employee salary, are you ready for this? The average, $106,382. There's 2.3 million of these people. What? The median average household income for all Americans is $75,000. If 10% of the civilian workforce accepted this buyout offer, 10%, okay, it would cost spending would cut spending rather, by more than $24 billion. And according to the Office of Personnel Management data, the government's turnover rate is like 6 to 8% in a typical year, mainly because of retirements. Trump's offer is part of his promised initiative to reduce the size and the cost of the federal government, an effort assigned to the Department of Government Efficiency, an advisory body, blah, blah, blah. So, think about this. We could save, by purging just 10% of the workforce, $24 billion. That's crazy. And you have Ilhan Omar and Maxine Waters and Jamie Raskin and all of these other scoundrels barking on the steps of the Capitol. Trump's a dictator. What he's trying to do? He's trying to cut the costs of the federal bureaucracy. How dare he? That's what a fascist would do. No, see, that's what you would do. If your kids racked up debt on your credit cards and you had to pay them off before you were extended any more credit, everything stops. Everything gets cut. Everything is on the chopping block. Everything is negotiable. Why is it that these Democrats are so daggone insistent to keep the gravy train grift rolling? One must only surmise they all are part of the grift known as USAID. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, so we're going to talk about DC's Democrats. We're going to talk about them holding an anti-Elon rally, yelling, "Lock him up." Really? Next. Some people are scared.
Well, you know, if you're not part of the grift and you work for the government, right? I think the concern would be like, okay, I'm not part of this grift, but I have a government job. And now I have to make a decision, because if I don't take it, am I going to get, what's going to happen to my department? And it has nothing to do with that worker. It's the people above them that have manipulated and taken advantage of for so long that the guy that shows up every day and does his job is getting screwed. So like, that's where the dilemma, if you put that in front of me, I'd have to be like, the uncertainty of what's next is exciting as an outsider, saying we could save all this money. But to someone that works in the government, I could see where the apprehension would be, if I don't take this, I lose. What's my option? That risk reward thing is,
and he brings up an interesting point that I'm going to parlay over into talking about one of my friends, Dr. Richard Rafferty at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. When you have a problem that likely needs a surgical resolution, you do have to look at the risk and the reward balance sheet. You have to look at it and say, all right, if I don't do this, how am I going to feel? Is it survivable? Is my pain survivable? Does it kill my daily joy? What's the reward if I go through this non-surgical treatment? That's what Dr. Rafferty offers with this intradisc neutrosis. If you are one of the millions of Americans walking around with bulging or herniated discs in your back or your neck, if you've been told it's probably time to think about surgery, I want you to jot down a phone number. And I want you to get a second opinion because it matters. And it could super benefit you in a huge way. 412-906-9600. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. Go to their website. Read about intradisc neutrosis. Call them. Talk to one of their wonderful staffers. Ask about getting an MRI. If you have one, Dr. Rafferty will look at it. He'll tell you if you're a candidate before you spend a dime. They fixed so many thousands upon thousands of people. They can fix you. And it's 98% successful, non-surgical. 412-906-9600. Can we get to 3.5?
It is a shame that there are going to be good people that get caught up in this.
It's unfortunate. But you know what? They might be able to reapply. Well, what did you say if you ever bought the radio station where we once worked? You would fire everybody.
I said I would fire everyone.
And give them job applications on the way out the door.
I would say if you want to apply for a job, there's applications on the front desk. And I think you're going to eliminate a lot of people just by that. Yeah. Saying,
that's what
Trump
I know
Brock knows I don't do shit, so I ain't going to apply. I hope it would be fair like that, but I mean, I would try to be fair. But if I was to take over something, I'd want to deconstruct it and rebuild it in my own.
There's a lot of dead weight.
A lot.
When you start
no matter what business.
When you start carving the non-necessities out of your budget, it's pretty remarkable how much money you can find that just evaporated before. Like, where did that go? Where did that
or
go?
Things start to move seamlessly, and you're like, why were we paying those 6 people to do that? What 2 people could do, you know? So if you're a federal employee, I don't envy you, but being fired is not the worst thing that will ever happen to you. I can say that.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. And I say this commonly on this program. I like to watch and to listen at a distance. You can see so much further away. You might miss some of the nuance when you're not close to something, but when you're further away, you can see people maneuver. You can see strategy begin to take shape. You can palpably see fear. And that is why I say, come with me to 30,000 feet. Hang up here with me for a minute and look down at the landscape of outrage. It's curious that the media's description of President Trump's view for America with a federal government that is lean, that is effective, that in the defense realm is lethal, that in terms of the State Department is pushing America's best interests overseas. Then in the realm of Akash Patel, God willing, he's confirmed to be the FBI director, where we have a federal oversight, a Department of Justice that gets back into the reality of doing right by us instead of being a weapon. When you see the people panic and you hear the media describe Donald Trump as threatening this or that, or acting in a dictatorial, tyrannical, or fascist way, those are all crappy buzzwords. Most of those people have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. But they know that they've been told, get your butt out there. There's a live mic. We've ginned up some crowd. We're going to have them behind you. We're going to send this image to the world. that Americans don't want their government to be streamlined, effective, lean, lethal, and brilliant. So all of these Democrats get together on the steps of whatever building. I don't even care. And they're outraged over Elon Musk. They're doing everything they can to dig into this guy. Well, what can we expose? What can we do? Can we make fun of him and his family? How about his relationships? What about this? What about that? How can we attack him? How can we create a narrative that runs contrary to what he's doing? It's all they know how to do because they don't know what's hitting them. And what's hitting them is America knows. And more of us are becoming more and more educated and less tolerant. So I want you to hear, this is at this anti-Elon Musk protest in D.C. As Democrat politicians, I'm just looking here. I see Maxine Waters. I see Jamie Raskin. I see people behind this guy. His name is Dave Min. And he's a Democrat rep out of California. He represents the 47th District, Huntington Beach, Costa Mesa, Laguna, right? And he's on the steps of whatever building this is. And he's like, Elon Musk. And they start saying, lock him up. Lock him. If you're willing to hold a rally where you appear unhinged because you hate the idea that your government doesn't want to waste trillions of taxpayer dollars anymore, you're exposing yourself to everybody up here at 30,000 that you suck and that you're corrupt and that you're part of the problem and that you must go. Listen to this Dave Min guy, congressman from California.
Did Elon Musk want to take control of the payment system? That's the $64 trillion question. And we know why, because he made clear he wants to cut $2 trillion from our budget. Now, if you look at our budget, there's not $2 trillion to cut unless you massively cut Social Security and Medicare, and that is what he's after. And now he has the ability to shut off your Social Security, Medicare, any payments he wants with the flip of a switch. Obviously, he has control of our information as well. He has broken the law time and time again. This cannot stand. He must be held accountable. He must be made to pay. We must enforce the law.
Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up.
That is your Democratic Party. Maxine Waters looks like a marionette. Lock him up. Lock him up. Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time. This is the same woman who said, you go out there and you tell them that they are not welcome. Elon Musk is the issue. Isn't it so amazing? It's like the only people who don't realize that they are projecting their own darkness. That they have been co-opted, corrupted, purchased by this bribery blackmail apparatus. This dude has been he's reading off of printed out talking points. He can't even go out in a crowd and speak from the heart about something because you are living in High School Musical. This is all performance. Lock him up. What are you afraid of, Maxine? We do love your $4 million house. One of them, right? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, oh my, I really went long on that. DC U.S. Attorney Ed Martin says something to anybody who wants to stop Doge from auditing their books. Don't even think about it. Next.
It's like yelling at the doctor for because of the side effects of a drug they give you and not the actual cancer, not the actual disease. Let's yell about Elon Musk. The symptom. Let's not cut out the disease, which is them.
You guys, Dr. Marty. Dr. Marty. What did Mike say about him? Likes him? Dr. Mike
Good guy,
Hutchinson,
far
world-renowned veterinarian.
way ahead of the holistic approach to animals.
That's what I like to hear.
We didn't do it until Mike. We got a question on the pet show. Unsolicited. And Mike unsolicited.
Yeah.
Dr. Mike unsolicited said, hey, he's a good guy.
So I want to tell you about why we are working in conjunction with Dr. Marty Goldstein. He's one of America's most renowned holistic veterinarians. And he says there is one potentially dangerous substance which is found in many dog foods that you should stop feeding your dog immediately. If your dog maybe has been acting tired, maybe kind of sluggish, it may be because of this one compound. Many dog manufacturers have this substance in their dog foods, and it's one that most dogs consume on a daily basis. It's something that's not being reported by the mainstream media, and big dog food manufacturers certainly aren't interested in you knowing about it. After years of research, however, Dr. Marty has decided to release an informative video to the public, totally free of charge, easy for you to access, showcasing exactly which foods you should stop feeding your dog. He explains why you need to be feeding your dog Nature's Blend. That's his. That's what he puts out there. That's what he feeds his dogs. Okay. This is what you can find out right now. If you go to healthydog1, number one, healthydog1.com/Wendy, you can make this simple change in your dog's health that could super duperly affect their life. You can also do the super duperly. Don't you like that, science? Trust the science. Super duperly. You can also do the same change right now in your own home. Takes a few minutes a day. What? Yeah. healthydog1.com/Wendy. I think it's great. I like what he does. I like how he acts. I like his stuff, and I'm getting his stuff. I'm getting it. So I'm going to use it. So I went into the basement today. We have a drain.
Oh no, not the basement and water. Again.
We have a drain, and the water is just stagnant, and it drips, and it just is stinky in there. I'm going to go down today, and I'm going to absolutely hit the bejabbers out of it with Knockout. So disinfectwithsniper.com. If you want to get rid of bacteria, if you want to get rid of COVID, if you want to get rid of SARS, MRSA, parvovirus, fungal infections that cause athlete's foot, you want to stop this stuff in its tracks. This product line of Sniper, which is the antibacterial, hospital grade, and Knockout, which is like the greatest deodorizer and degreaser in one thing. It's like these things together, Wonder Twins activate, right? Your house is clean.
Declutter under your sink.
Forever. Like 30 days. Sniper disinfects and does the bacterial stuff. 30 days. You can spray this on stuff. It's not toxic. You could spray it in your mouth and be fine. I don't advise it. Doesn't have a fragrance. Doesn't leave some strong perfume where you're like, eh. It's just clean. Peace of mind, and you don't have to wipe it off. It's safe on surfaces. Put it on your kids' hockey pads, their football pads, their stinky shoes, your countertops, your toilet handles, your car.
Your cigar room. That's what I did this morning.
I'm going to go home and I'm going to do that. I'm going to report back. You get geeked out by it.
Cleaned my air filtration with it.
That's nice. So where are we with, did I hit the 3.5?
Wait till you see what's coming next month.
Ooh.
From Disinfect with Sniper.
Look, when
you think I like
people,
Sniper?
Mm-hmm.
You think I like Sniper? The stuff that's coming next month.
You say it's better. Is it better
for pest
this?
control, for like ants and stuff like that?
I hate bugs. Freaking hate
fleas,
bugs.
ticks.
My husband hates spiders. Hates.
I say this about it. So I used it and I sprayed it where I had ants coming into my kitchen. Once I show up the next day and these ants like exploded, right? I've never had it. It's like a signal went back to the den or whatever, the ant hill, and said, "Hoo,
Don't do it.
Yeah. He
Detour.
basically nuked that place.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Here's your early retirement plan.
Never.
This is your buyout.
Never had another ant in that spot.
That's pretty slick. I'll take it.
And 2, sniper, if you dilute it 3-to-1, you can spray it on your plants come summertime, which is kind of nice.
Ooh.
For the black thumb people. Should I give you a good one?
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I'm digging me this DC U.S. attorney named Ed Martin. I was just thinking about this. What did Donald Trump say? He has something like 1,500 appointments he has to make in his administration. That's just mind-bending. And when you get one of these blasts from the White House communications team, and it says President Trump is proud to say so-and-so is, has been invited to and is joining the Advisory Council on Economics, and so-and-so who went to blah, blah, blah is doing thus and such. And you're like, oh my gosh, every single day. Oh yeah. And you're talking about taking over the Gaza Strip and making it safe and bulldozing it, getting rid of all of the bombs and creating peace. Like, what? It's crazy, right? But there are pivotal people that have to be in place. And one of the most pivotal is the position of the U.S. Attorney in the District of Columbia. And this guy, Ed Martin, from what I've seen so far, is absolutely no joke. So apparently, this isn't just some you never hear from these people. This guy is on the offensive, and he's putting out to any government bureaucracy, including this USAID, which prevented Elon's Doge auditors from gaining entry to the building. He's putting these people on notice, this U.S. attorney, Ed Martin. And he's saying, look, you want to FAFO, you go for it, but we're going to sue you. We're going to take you to court if you try to interfere with the job that the president of the United States has asked Elon Musk in this Doge position to do. I mean, this isn't reactive. This is proactive. Shoot, we had an administration over the last 4 years that was on vacation. When did you ever see Jennifer Granholm, Secretary of Energy? Besides when she was making money off of her Proterra stock. Like, when did you hear about her? Ever? No. No. When did you ever see Pete Buttigieg? Did you see him ever in any like critical, proactive project way? Here's what we're going to do. I'm the Secretary of Transportation. We're going to fix some problems. There was no fix. There was stagnation. There was waste. And then there was almost irritation when we would ask questions like, hey, what about all these people who are getting hurt on our subways in New York? Well, what's going on? You shut up about that. Fascist, racist. Really? This article on the Epoch Times is fascinating. U.S. attorney suggests prosecutions are coming over targeting of Doge employees. This isn't something that Elon Musk is just like willy-nilly going out and being like, let's go look at their books. Let's go get our bean counters and our coders. Let's see what everybody's doing. They want to go in and they want to see where the money's going. And if you can't provide those details, Houston, you have a problem. Let's hear this. The acting U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia said on Monday that groups or individuals may have violated laws by targeting workers with Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, and that he is preparing to take action. Right? I'm pinching myself. I'm like, no, I'm getting punked. Where is he? Come out of the shadows, Ashton, right? In a statement posted on X, Acting U.S. Attorney Ed Martin said that after an initial review of evidence, his office contacted the FBI and other law enforcement agencies to proceed rapidly against people who were targeting Doge employees. We also have our prosecutors preparing, the statement said. Martin's statement did not provide any names or other information. You guys, it doesn't have to. Look, I've told this story before. I got fired from a radio job when protesters were threatening to rappel down the faces of the presidents on Mount Rushmore. And this was after we survived the hands-off, demonizing, defunding, the emasculating of America's police, who were instructed to stand down and watch it burn. That's what we watched. Now, it's one thing to set a police cruiser afire. It is another thing entirely to want to fiddle with American history. My personal opinion was anyone who wanted to repel with C4 or old style Acme whatever sticks of dynamite and blow up a president's face ought to be shot on sight. That's not a game. That's not wild threats. That's, you want to rappel off the side of this mountain? Try us. I got fired for saying that. It was twisted. And what was reported was that I was saying protesters should be shot on the streets, which is a wildly different comment. And it would be dangerous, and I would never say that. But my point in saying what I said was, we've had this namby-pamby, hands-off police reaction to obvious criminality, to flash mobs, looting and robbing, to these mobs of ne'er-do-well thugs and goons who believe they can pillage our communities without consequence. And they got away with it. A show of force with one simple action wakes a lot of people up and makes a lot of people who similarly want to push America's buttons, makes them maybe reconsider. It's peace through strength. I warn you, we will take action. Try me. And then going to town when somebody does. Ed Martin, U.S. Attorney, just dropped that message for the world to hear. This is how the left-wing media are portraying Elon Musk and this Department of Government Efficiency's objectives. I don't believe anybody can criticize an objective that's meant to save us our hard-earned money. Our taxes are out of control. The average household is paying today $15,000 more a year in taxes than it did when Donald Trump left office in 2021. It is unaffordable. It cannot continue. And anybody who wants to present this as a narrative should be exposed, as I will. Wired.com, left-wing rag. It is. This is the headline, which sparked the new U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia to send out that missive to everyone, the warning shot to anyone who wishes to get in the way of the Department of Government Efficiency. This is the headline. The young, inexperienced engineers aiding Elon Musk's government takeover. The young, inexperienced engineers creating the illusion that you've got a bunch of college kids with zits who don't know what they're doing, gaining access into America's precious financial records. They're going to go in and they're going to blow up Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security. You'll have nothing left. It's a coup. It's a government takeover. It's nothing of the sort. It's bean counters, essentially, asking for receipts from government agencies that work for us. This article, Wired.com, goes on to, let's just say, dox several of the young engineers, some of the young, brilliant minds who work for Elon Musk, who are helping him in these endeavors to expose waste and fraud. And Ed Martin sang to this journalist in these publications and these actors at USAID who actively blocked Doge's entrance into the facility. You're going to lose. And you're going to lose swiftly. This is the kind of communication we're not used to as of late. We haven't had a responsive government. We had a president, in name only, who was gone on vacation 40% of the time because he never really was in charge. We had a bunch of unelected bureaucrats, holdovers from the Obama administration, and Barack Obama himself calling very dangerous shots with a media that is supposed to behave as the fourth estate, that branch that oversees the others, makes sure people are doing what they say they are, who instead of acting as those watchdogs that they should, have been the willing and complicit partners who've propagandized tall tales to run interference, who've gone after people like this program, me, and so many others on the conservative side of the aisle who simply see what you see and believe we should be the ones calling the shots and getting the truth. They are terrified, and they ought to be. Because anyone who lied to us, who misrepresented the objectives of these United States, who interfered in other countries' elections, who ginned up, started and sparked global wars, who ended up costing us our sons and daughters, be it in war or because of drugs. Ed Martin just put you all on notice. I hope the deep state is listening. When we come back, did you guys hear? It's the first one. Wheels up, shackled, ankles chained. The first criminal illegal aliens have been deported from these United States for Guantanamo Bay. Did you guys hear what Marco Rubio, President Trump, and President Bukele of El Salvador worked out? It's official. I got it for you next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
You love him. You do.
I do.
I do. You light up when you talk about him.
I have very eclectic style. For instance, I love Charles Payne.
Oh. Yeah, but that goes across because so do I.
How about the guy who is in the European Union? I forgot his name.
Masso or
he's super cute. He's 24 and I love him. I love Texas Bullion Exchange. You know, we are a little bit different on this program because I will not share with you a sponsor that I don't use, know personally, or can personally vouch for their integrity. I just won't. There's no money that's worth it to me if I mislead you one single time. It's part of this thing that you and I do, and I take it very, very seriously. So when I tell you about Texas Bullion Exchange, I'm telling you about dealing with them as a business owner, dealing with them on a professional level, how they've treated me, how they've embraced me, how they love this show, how they've loved you as clients. I can also tell you, as a buyer of precious metals, they're the real deal. TexasBullion.com. Call 855-927-5557. Talk to them. Get precious metals into your hand. Get coins. Check out the beautiful coins. Their website is phenomenal. You can just scroll through and see all of the beautiful things that they have. But the beautiful thing about calling 855-927-5557 is you get paired up with an advisor who is yours, right? Who listens to you and understands what you want and helps open the door to various products that you don't know about. Limited edition, low mintage Donald Trump coins. Yeah. Gold from Canada, gold from the UK, gold from the 1800s. Oh my God, it's crazy. It's so cool. And they teach you stuff. Like you walk away and you're like, I'm not quite as dumb as I was before I was talking to them. TexasBullion.com. Do yourself a favor. Just engage in a conversation. You will be wowed. Wowed. I was.
Now you got me wondering what his name is.
Oh, shoot. I don't know. You know, I have been drinking this, you guys, and I know some of you have as well. I want to know what you think about it. This is the Dr. Gundry drink. This is the one that's the healthy fat. We're going to talk about it coming up. I think it's a very interesting product. And then Native Path has that native balance formula that's magnesium, chock full of magnesium. It's unlike any of the other stuff that we do. It's really exciting. I want to talk to you about that too. I think it can change so much in your life by like flipping that inability to just, right? Before you go on Xanax or Zoloft, try something natural. Try magnesium. It's nativebalance.com. Wow. Life-changing. Sort of like spending your life with me. You'll never go back.
You are funny.
That's just
I take
rude.
that back. You're hysterical.
That's just rude. I'm totally geeked out by this. Yes, I do think now you
weren't
Kaylee's
joking.
Cutie bug. What?
What?
Rude. How many people are watching? Hi, 14-2. How you doing?
359.
We
Let's
need
go.
410 people to hit the 4K. Let's go. Oh my gosh. How exciting is it as we are rejoined here on the Wendy Bell radio program? Welcome back, everybody. This idea of cleaning up, right? Spring cleaning, it's a hassle to think about, but once you get going, right? My analogy in the opening monologue about my boys cleaning up their closet and coming out with like 14 or 17 of these giant bags. Like, look, if you're not using it anymore, if you've outgrown it, let's give it to somebody who would enjoy it, right? Stop holding on to it. Let's get the clutter out. When the clutter is human collateral that's dark and dangerous, you don't have time to wait for that to come up on the agenda. That needed to be on the agenda last week. It's hard enough as a parent just keeping your children safe. Think about all the ridiculous things that we do. Every plug that we cover with those stupid things. Every gate you might put up in your house to prevent your kids from climbing. Locks on the toilet because a child can drown in like 2 inches of water. I mean, everything that you do, making sure they don't choke, and then make sure you know how to cross the street. And I'm going to put you in bubble wrap if you ride a bike, and here's their elbow pad. I mean, we're crazy. And yet there are millions of people in this country about whom we know nothing. And even a small percentage of them, if we're going to be gracious, that are criminals. It's too many. You have a right to live freely in this country, in this homeland. And it is with joy that I report Trump's first military flight of Gitmo-bound migrants left El Paso yesterday. The first military flight transporting migrants to the Guantanamo Bay detention camp from El Paso for the Department of Homeland Security departed Biggs Army Airfield Tuesday. The camp in Cuba is currently undergoing modifications that will allow for up to 30,000 migrants to be held at the facility located within the naval station, Guantanamo Bay. That it's happening is less important than the message this sends to the world. Don't freaking come. You are not welcome, particularly if you're a criminal. If you want to come and you want to hurt our people, oh my. You won't want to know what'll happen. We haven't had that. There have been no consequences. To the contrary, we had a Biden administration that stole from us. And you know who woke up to that? The Black community. As their inner city recreation centers closed to be transformed into temporary housing for migrants. As their taxpayer dollars went higher and higher and their benefits slipped through the cracks so that people we don't know who don't speak our language and have no intention of assimilating. They didn't come here carrying American flags, you guys. As they got everything. First wheels up to Gitmo. See you later. Now that's exciting. This is really exciting. Trump and Rubio's prison deal with El Salvador is a legal and strategic masterstroke. You ready for this? Donald Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio have secured an historic agreement with El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele that will allow the U.S. to deport violent criminals regardless of nationality to serve their sentences in El Salvador's high security mega prison called CCOT. This bold initiative will cut prison costs, reduce overcrowding, and enhance public safety by removing dangerous criminals from U.S. soil. Now, critics have argued that the U.S. cannot deport American citizens, but federal law provides clear pathways for this policy to be implemented legally. Are you ready for this? Under 8 U.S. Code Section 1227, lawful permanent residents can be deported for aggravated felonies, drug offenses, and crimes of moral turpitude. 8 U.S. Code Section 1481 allows the revocation of citizenship for naturalized citizens who engaged in terrorism, treason, or fraud in obtaining their status, meaning gang members who concealed their affiliations, such as MS-13 Tren de Aragua, could be stripped of their citizenship and removed. Additionally, the International Prisoner Transfer Program already allows for foreign nationals convicted in the United States to serve sentences in their home countries. We don't want to pay for you. Go home and suffer the wrath of your own leadership. This new agreement expands this concept by allowing El Salvador to house criminals from any nation, including those the U.S. wants to remove. Bukele's already transformed El Salvador from one of the world's deadliest nations to one of its safest, by jailing over 83,000 gang members. Instead of spending $35,000 per inmate per year here in the U.S., we'll give them to him. Are you kidding me? Wow. When we come back, when you demand better and you vote for better, you get better, hopefully. Well, that's what we've gotten with Pete Hegseth. I got to go back to his first 8 days as Secretary of Defense. You will get whiplash next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Instead of spending $35,000 per inmate per year in U.S. prisons, America can outsource these costs to El Salvador at a fraction of the price, with Bukele proposing a flat fee per inmate to sustain his prison system while reducing U.S. expenses. This agreement also strengthens Trump's broader immigration enforcement strategy. The Safe Third Country framework, already in place with Guatemala, will now apply to El Salvador, ensuring that migrants arrested at the U.S. border can be sent there instead of remaining here. Get out.
I think this is some exporting of jobs that we can all get behind.
See ya. I got to go to the bathroom.
Who can't get behind sending criminals away? Do we really care what prison they stay in? Maybe the family members do, but here's a novel idea. Don't break the law. Simple as that. Don't break the law. Live in a civil society like the rest of us. I don't think it's a hard concept to get behind. Where are we? 368. Let's go. Yeah, Darius, stop breaking the law. That's a great movie. Liar, liar. Stop breaking the law, asshole. I'd love to see the IRS go away. I saw a clip of Steven Crowder, and he nailed it. He said the difference between what the Democrats are saying and what Chuck Schumer, especially on the House Senate floor, said when he said, who's next? The Postal Service audit, the IRS. He's saying it like it's a bad thing. And Steven Crowder said exactly what the rest of us are thinking. Okay, they're next. I'm all behind it. The difference between the way Chuck Schumer says it and the rest of us say, like, hell yeah, audit the IRS. Hell yeah, audit the Postal Service. We're all about that. Audit them all.
Yeah, right.
Audit everything. Everyone, every department, audit them all.
All right, I want to tell you guys about Native Path. Native Path to me is like the wellness company. They're soup to nuts. I really like what they do. And if I was smart and was an investor early on, I would have invested in those businesses because they do such important work. So Native Path has put out a new product called Native Balance. And you think it's about it's not about that. It's about balancing magnesium in your body. There's like 7 different kinds of magnesium out there. And its effects on us are profound. And many of us don't have great magnesium levels to begin with. And you don't really think about it, right? But magnesium is directly connected to stress, to anxiety, to sleep, to the ability to turn it off and just go to sleep. And this infuses you with it, which I absolutely love. It's been called the invisible deficiency, this magnesium deficiency that so many of us have. And signs that you might have a deficiency in magnesium: twitches, tremors, muscle cramps, a sense of apathy, just kind of like mental numbness, stress, weakened bones, lower blood levels of calcium, which is super important, headaches and fatigue, constipation, muscle weakness, or nerve pain. This Native Path, nativebalance.com/Wendy. This changes everything. Contains 2 of the most important forms of magnesium, specifically for seniors. This is big. Native Balance.
I'm starting to think I'm deficient in magnesium.
Nativebalance.com/Wendy. I think it's fantastic. These things are natural.
I mean, these headaches I get from 9 to noon.
Whatever.
Only on the weekdays.
I'm so not falling for that. I love this thing. And they say every ingredient is backed by scientific studies showing its ability to improve the body's inflammatory response, support nerve health, relieve muscle cramps, and so much more. It's got ashwagandha in it, which is called the youth-giving herb. It's popular in a lot of traditional medicine for being one of Mother Nature's most powerful stress and inflammation relievers, right? I'm thinking that before I go to my doctor, I'm like, I need some Xanax. Can you help me out? I'm going to take nativebalance.com/Wendy. I'm going to try that first. Wouldn't that be wonderful to get off of all that jazz? And quickly, thank you to Kelly Morgan for what she does for this program. I'm so appreciative that she's got a program here in Western Pennsylvania that you can go to at morgainsfitness.com, MORGAINZ fitness.com, and join this 90 Ignite program. 90 days, you watch what you eat, and you get your butt moving. And some of her patients, some of her clients have lost 15 inches, 10 pounds of fat. And around the women, this area,
Back boob.
the back boob, I don't have either side. So my zhuzh is from here to here. I just want to work on this from here to here. That's it. Nothing else. Kelly Morgan, More Gains Fitness. Click on it. Get on her waiting list. See if she's got space for you, because she'll teach you what you need to know.
I think Trump learned from his first time of, when he first ran, it was drain the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he
now it's chop the head off the steak.
No, I don't think drain the swamp. Anyone truly understood this USAID is the drain of the swamp. Grab the purse strings and just shut them.
Yeah. This is
the drain.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing anyone who fights for transgender things in other countries is not fighting for the American people. And that's the
no, and if they're with Hamas, so they're
going to
thrown
come
off
out
of the roof.
Yep.
Good luck with that.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
Who can take your money? With a twinkle in their eye. Take it all away and give it to some other guy. The government. The government can. And the government can, because they mix it up with lies and make it all taste good. The government takes everything we make to pay for all of their solutions, like healthcare, climate change, pollution. Just throw away the Constitution. I wrote that, thank you. Who can give a bailout? Tell us to behave. And make the founding fathers roll over in their grave. I don't care if you hate me, I'm going to sing it anyway. Oh, the government can.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Welcome aboard. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program. Hey, if you haven't gotten us podcast form, it's super easy to do. So we take every hour, and our podcast producer, Bob, whittles out the commercials and all the crosstalk and mumbo jumbo. So it's 39 to 40 minutes. And you can get it by going wherever you get your favorite podcasts and plugging in Wendy Bell Radio. If you download our app onto your phone, it's just a click away, just a touch away. 4 million people have already done that. And I'm super, super grateful. Thank you so much for that. Before I skip forward, and I want to just a profile of competence. A profile of someone who is able, talented, results, laser focused, Pete Hegseth. And I want to go over the whirlwind first 8 days he had, because I had no idea when it was linearly lined up for me. I was like, oh my gosh, we have to talk about this, because we're not used to effective government. We're not effective to clear communication. We're not accustomed to finding out from the president of the United States exactly what's going to happen before it happens. That's not how this relationship has been, but it is now. And I want to get back to this whole exporting our criminals to El Salvador. This is very interesting, because the International Prisoner Transfer Program, ladies and gentlemen, that set up in 18 U.S. Code 4100 to 4115 already allows for foreign nationals convicted in the United States to serve sentences in their home countries. This new agreement, though, expands that concept by allowing El Salvador to house criminals from any nation, including those the U.S. wants to remove. Bukele's already transformed his country from one of the world's deadliest to one of the safest by jailing over 83,000 gang members. His 40,000 inmate mega prison, Sikat, has become a model for tough, no-nonsense incarceration where criminals are locked down 24 hours a day with no rehabilitation programs or luxuries. You're going to die here is the deal. And the world knows that. And criminals are listening. So now instead of spending 35 grand per inmate per year in our prisons, American can outsource these costs to El Salvador for a fraction of the price, with Bukele proposing a flat fee per inmate to sustain his prison system while reducing U.S. expenses. Now that's smart, isn't it? Isn't that an odd feeling? I want to read you this from Breitbart. I fell into this morning and was absolutely entranced by it. Pete Hegseth, all the mumbo jumbo this guy has gone through. Has it been worth it to the American people? Yes. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth torches DEI and the establishment in his first week at the Pentagon. This is from Breitbart. I want you to hear just a little bit. We're going to take you on a little whirlwind tour. I didn't know about it. You might, but I didn't. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth went scorched earth in his first week at the Pentagon, you guys, taking a torch to diversity, equity, and inclusion programs all throughout the military and ordering some pretty big reforms, even authorized airstrikes against terrorists. Hegseth just last Monday climbed the steps of the Pentagon's river entrance for his first day as defense secretary, giving his first press conference on the spot. He said, "Every moment that I am here, I'm thinking about the guys and the gals in Guam, in Germany, in Fort Benning, at Fort Bragg, on missile defense sites and aircraft carriers. Our job is lethality and readiness and war fighting." When have you ever heard that from your military? Later in the day, he spoke to a number of foreign counterparts, as is customary for a new defense secretary. Then on Tuesday, he continued to speak to foreign counterparts, but made his first major move to upset the status quo and bring accountability back to the Pentagon by pulling the security detail for former chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Mark Milley, and ordered an inspector general review into whether he should be demoted in retirement. Missile sent, message heard. He also removed an additional portrait of Milley from the Pentagon from his time as Army Chief of Staff. The moves sparked outcry from Democrats and Trump critics who had praised Milley for his reported attempts to undermine the commander-in-chief in the remaining months of his first administration. Accountability is back, Hegseth said about the move. If you actively undermine the chain of command as General Milley did under the previous Trump administration, we are going to review those actions. Sounds an awful lot like Ed Martin over at the U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C., doesn't it? Hegseth also reversed a policy put into place by former Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin that would pay for troops and their families to travel to another state for an abortion. Oh my God. Later that night, Hegseth had dinner with National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, then had to jump into action after a tragic aircraft collision between a commercial airliner and an Army Black Hawk helicopter on a training mission over D.C., the administration's first crisis. The next day, on Wednesday, Hegseth continued to monitor the aircraft collision response and appeared alongside Trump at a White House press briefing. DOD actively monitoring, he tweeted, poised to assist if needed. Prayers for all involved. Lloyd Austin never did that. He also took another major move that upset the establishment by issuing a memo implementing a ban on DEI all throughout the military, writing, "The strength of the DOD comes from our unity and our shared purpose. We will focus on lethality, meritocracy, accountability, standards, and readiness. Providing service members an equal opportunity to excel will help us remain the strongest and the most lethal fighting force the world has ever known. On Thursday, he continued to monitor the collision response, putting out a video on X to update the public from his office in the Pentagon. Republican communications consultant Chad Banghart praised Hegseth for the transparency, saying, "Never before have I seen anything like this. Very transparent. Well done." On Friday, Hegseth looked into a report that there was flooding inside the Walter Reed National Military Center, and he ordered it fixed, saying this in an X post. "We looked into this. It is real and unacceptable. This is the result of deferred maintenance under the last administration. My staff is prioritizing fixing this, and under this president, our troops will receive only the best care." On Friday night, he took his next major reform. Hegseth canceled the use of official resources for the celebration of all cultural awareness months, including National African American, Black History Month, Women's History Month, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Pride Month, National Hispanic Heritage Month, National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and National American Indian Heritage Month. Whew. He said this: "Our unity and purpose are instrumental to meeting the department's war-fighting mission. Efforts to divide the force, to put one group ahead of another, erode camaraderie, and threaten mission execution." However, there was one more major reform that would spark outrage from the establishment and legacy media, outlined in a memo written by the acting press secretary. Hegseth ordered 4 mainstream media outlets, the New York Times, NBC News, NPR, and Politico, to leave their workspaces embedded inside the Pentagon, to give them to the New York Post, to One America News, Breitbart News, and the Huffington Post. The move was not only physical, but symbolic, to show the country that these legacy media outlets will no longer drive the agenda at the Pentagon from their perches inside the building. And the next morning, on Saturday, Hegseth authorized military airstrikes against ISIS Somalia. On Monday, he was back in action again. 8 days after he climbed the steps at the Pentagon, Pete Hegseth debarked from a plane, disembarked from a plane in Texas on his first official trip as defense secretary to visit the southern border and meet with troops at Fort Bliss, Texas, who are conducting the mission to secure the border. That was 8 days. If Lloyd Austin was given another 4 years, would Lloyd Austin accomplish as much in 8 years as Pete Hegseth did in 8 days, taking out the trash? That's the new America. When we come back, let's make America sane again, shall we? Donald Trump is set to sign soon here, perhaps in the next 3 hours, an emergency order banning transgender athletes from women's sports. That's what we call winning, my friends. Next. It was executive, not emergency. Sorry, guys.
Just sent you a text.
Is it going to hurt my feelings?
Yeah.
Let's address that when we come back. It's like the early buyout offer. It's the go away offer.
Let's address 383. Let's go.
Can we please have 170 people push us over?
Wow,
Why?
you did that in your head.
I was on the dating game.
Oh, so that helps your math skills? Bachelorette number 3.
Dr. Simkovich. Dr. Simkovich and his cranial, what does he call it? I just had it here. By golly. Cranial movement therapy. Like I've wondered, if you can't detect a traumatic brain injury on an MRI or CT scan or an X-ray, how do you know? I mean, aside from knowing that you're just not the same, that you're off. You know the people that you love who get hurt are off. What do you do about that? Is there surgery for that? Is there a treatment for that? What is that? Dr. Simkovich, Dr. Charles Simkovich, with his bare hands, pushing on various areas inside your soft palate, around your head, moving things around based on dedicating his life to treating people with traumatic brain injuries and concussions. He can fix you. How? I have no earthly idea. I mean, he explains it, but until I watch, which I'm going to here in a couple weeks, I cannot wait. I can't report back to you, but I can tell you, he's gotten what, like 15,000 people who are like 5 stars. Thank you for giving me my life back. 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Game changer. Total game changer.
And yes, Wendy was on the data game. We tried to find the...
I think I lost it in the flood. I'm so sorry. They dumped a bunch of stuff and they shouldn't have, which is just terrible. It was very upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
Very upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
Really? I see that I'm missing one. Do you see that?
I'd have to think about it. Are you giving me the next 10 minutes to think about it?
Yes. Yes, I will. It's so annoying that you can do that. It really bothers me. I feel inferior.
You shouldn't.
I know.
I'm going to actually have to think about it. I thought that was the last one.
Tell me you write them down.
Oh, no. I know which one. No, you did it off the top. Lean.
I did do it off the top.
You did canola down off the top.
I'm so bummed. I found an old lipstick that I love. I love lipstick.
Oh,
If you pay
hold
attention
on.
enough, I love it, right? And now my lips are blistering. I know, right? Well, who has blister lips? Who has allergic reactions to stuff like that? I do. Why? I don't know. Started like 2 years ago. And I'm like, oh, that feels really good. I had to throw it away. I'm so upset. Hey, look, I live on Estrogen Island. I need as much girly crap as I can get. And I don't get much of it. I think Annette just texted me saying that your hair looks like garbage. Can we do it now?
I know. I need a haircut. Well, not as bad as you, but I could use.
No, I do definitely. You can see the gray. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I wonder if the adults in the world who've gotten sucked into this transgender, my child feels trapped in the wrong body, and so as an 8th grader, I'm going to let him or her do blank. I wonder if there's going to be that moment down the road where they say, oh, snap. I hope so. And I hope not. All in one. Because to realize that you allowed something so permanent, so disfiguring, so often sterilizing, to not just steal today from your child, but to steal and rob from them their future. I don't know. I'm grateful that President Trump is doing this. It's embarrassing that it's gotten to this point. It's embarrassing that the left have created some idea of normal that boys and girls going through puberty, which sucks. No matter how you slice it, it's terrible. It's a rite of passage. It's acne. It's being awkward. It's feeling kind of greasy all the time. It's being self-conscious. It's just terrible. I remember I grew and was just, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. You just look terrible. And then throw some braces in there in bad fashion. Like, it's awful, right? We could share this with our children, be like, oh my gosh, take a look at this picture. How about this? You want to see my buck teeth? Here you are. Look at that, right? You feel better about yours? No, we're going to allow you to lop off some body parts or stitch other things on or take pills that completely scramble who you are and ruin you from the inside out, because that sounds like good parenting. That sounds like good science. And there are hospitals out there willing to do that. I don't get that. I don't, you can't explain to me. If you're a grown up and you decide to do whatever you do and you pay for it, I mean, that's on you. But can we all identify and say just that what needs to be said? There's a reason third world countries don't have these issues. This is a first world issue, and it's called mental illness. And it's horrendous. But we're not going to play this charade anymore. And Donald Trump has to make it official, and he's going to today. He's going to sign this executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports. I can't fathom that last night there was, or 2 nights ago, there was a demonstration. Like 1-800 crowds are us, show up outside New York University's blank hospital and complain that Donald Trump has told these hospitals to stop these surgeries and these treatments for children because it's freaking barbaric. It's beyond comprehensible. And you have people out there who are like, I deserve the right to mutilate my child. Yes. Gender affirming care. Yes. It's not. It's called barbarism. It's called child abuse. It's called derangement. And good on President Trump for doing both of those things. You know, and this is the funny thing. It's not even funny. It's sad. When I say to you, that there are some people out there who will not be saved. They will not be able to, despite an onslaught of just absolutely punishing facts. Despite this now release, this tsunami of information about fraud and abuse and manipulation and this whole awful agenda pushed by globalists who suck. Some people will not be saved. They will not be able to say, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I fell for that. I'm so embarrassed. I can't do this anymore. Some people will continue and they'll get their 10th booster shot and their 11th and their 12th. AP headline, families and doctors sue over Trump's order to halt funding for gender affirming care. That's next level. That's super out there. No, we demand the ability to destroy our children, and we want you to pay for it. We're suing you. Really? Like, how do you get behind that? How do you look at your children and believe what you're doing is for the best? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And if you feel like that, right? If you feel like that, isn't it kind of glorious to know that you're not in the minority? You're in the majority. Yeah. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, did you hear what Donald Trump said? He said to Iran, if you even think about assassinating me, I've left instructions and you don't want to know what's going to happen. Wait, what? We're going to go there next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Okay. So the only thing I can come up with, and I don't know if you did it or not, because I watch you do it every day, is Dr. Lakey or Native Hydrate, which you've mentioned that you were drinking today, but I don't know if that was.
It's the healthy fat.
You did that?
I don't think so. It's caloric bypass. I was saying that this is what I'm drinking. This is from Dr. Gundry. It says it's MCT Wellness. Watermelon lemonade supports production of ketones for more energy and polyphenols to support brain health. It's a dietary supplement. This is something that can super help you. I'm taking it because I have an affinity for Pringles, like entire cans of Pringles. And that's it. That's not good for your butt or your waist. I appreciate Dr. Gundry. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. And the reason why I like it is because these doctors do the research into certain things. And they're like, why is it that some people can't lose weight? Other people can be like, I'm not going to eat for 24 hours. And then lose like 7 pounds. And other people are like, I could starve myself until Christmas and I'd lose 2.5 pounds. It's not going to work. Why? Well, Dr. Gundry has discovered that there is a mechanism by which we kind of hold on to calories. Like your body isn't getting rid of them. And so you kind of store them like nuts for the winter. I want them gone. And he says you can flip the switch with this caloric bypass by going to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. I think it's very exciting. I'm drinking it. Actually, I have been drinking it. I'm drinking my Native Hydrate. Oh, and I didn't do the breaking news. We'll have to do that coming out of this because I think it's important. It's important that you guys know what is going on. Message heard. When you have actual leaders who show up, who project what they're going to do, and then, oh, God, they go do it, right? You have to follow through. It's like threatening your child. If you do that, then I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And if you never follow through on that, your kids are like, whatever. But there's a reason why my kids duck. They don't anymore.
You will haunt your
kids
the
anymore.
rest of your life.
You think I will?
I think you will.
Haunt. That sounds
Not
kind of,
haunt.
That sounds kind of like right.
Because your kids are a lot like me. It's that
mama's boys.
That and
I don't think I have mama's
not
boys.
wanting to disappoint.
Do you think I have mama's boys?
I do.
Really?
Some
Who?
of them.
Who?
I think Toolsy, and only because I've seen them. I've seen the way they react when you're disappointed. I think Ryan, and I think Shriss. I think Bobby is too to a degree, but those three, yeah. Mom will haunt them the rest of their life. Not haunt. Haunt is a bad word.
Oh,
but
bastards.
I still live under it's been 30 some years. I still live under the not wanting to disappoint. So I get where they're coming from. I am a 100% unabashed mama's boy. I would not deny that at all. But you do. You live in that. Every guy out there knows that was tight with his mom, and your mom's the first woman in your life. You know, you will be disappointed by the rest of them. You just will be. Because she'll show up with the shovel and not criticize. Dad will criticize. Oh, here we go again. I got a shovel, but what'd you do this time? Mom just shows up with the shovel and says, let's start digging, and we'll never talk about this again.
50 people. 50.
Y'all know I'm right.
Hi,
All you guys out there,
2000 on X. Hi.
all you guys out there know what I'm saying is true.
I'm delighted to have you guys here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have not been paying attention to the chat at all because I really can't.
Real men always come back to mama. Yeah, no one in their foxhole is yelling for their wife or their God and your mom. That's who you're praying to.
Demanda, we're up to 54.6.
We're like the water in Wendy's basement, just trickling in.
What should our honest goal be, Demanda? What do you think?
65.
By the end of the year?
Yeah.
Like, all it would take would be some big person, like maybe Dan Bongino, being like, go and click that button. I don't know if people would, but personally, and you kind of have to earn it because there's a relationship there. Like, you're not going to just click the follow button because you should. If you haven't, why don't you? I have to use this time to browbeat you wisely. 3.98, 2020. Can we get 20 people in like 20 seconds?
Hit it for your mom. Every guy should be hitting that Rumble button.
Come on. You can do it. 15 seconds. I love you. It will be amazing.
It's amazing.
Are you ready for breaking news there?
No.
No. I know. You don't care.
Nope.
I stopped an old man along the way, hoping to find some old forgotten words or ancient melodies. He turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you. Gotta take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I guess the rain's down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never did.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. This just in, ladies and gentlemen.
Breaking news.
It is true. Headline, NewYorkPost.com. Andrea Mitchell to leave MSNBC anchor chair this Friday after 17 years. It's so weird what's going on. Brock, let's recap. Who do we have to talk about? Well, we have this. We have Norah O'Donnell somehow getting shown the exit over at CBS.
Chuck Todd.
We have Chuck Todd also with MSNBC.
Your boyfriend.
Jim Acosta over at CNN. Is there anybody else that we know of? Because it's crazy what's going on. Why ever would this be? Andrea, Gravy Train. Let's see. Andrea Mitchell will step down as a full-time. First of all, she's horrendous. She's the most boring person ever, right? I mean, I don't know if being married to Alan Greenspan has anything to do with it, but she's boring as all get out. She's not enjoyable to look at. She provides nothing that's entertaining, innovative, enjoyable in any capacity. She's just a huge downer. Bye-bye. Mitchell announced last fall that she would step down at some point after the inauguration, but now feels like it's the right time. After 16 years of being in the anchor chair every day, I want time to do more of what I love the most, connecting, listening, and reporting in the field. What? You're 78. Go open a cold beer, get a fishing pole, and go drop a line in. Because that's what I'm going to be doing at 78. When I'm not cooking, probably drinking too much, and playing golf. Any questions? Right? I'm not going to be like, I really can't wait to go out and to report. No, somebody else's job, right? Oh, Andrea, best wishes to you. It's happening fast, and I love it. All right, so I got to get to this. Donald Trump yesterday signing some executive orders. And there's one that's crossing his desk. And he's got the guy who reads it and says, Mr. President, this is such and such. This is the one that's about blah, blah, blah. And this is about Iran. Iran making moves to develop a nuclear weapon, which would be absolutely catastrophic. It's one thing, and this is going to sound weird. It's one thing if Vladimir Putin has nuclear weapons. Why is that? The guy isn't crazy. He's not a madman. I don't believe this in any capacity. If Putin could facilitate peace, right? I believe he would. And I believe that he projected very clearly why he was going to march across the border into Ukraine and engage in war. Iran is a very special slice of hate. Unhinged, American hating, loathing. We took out Soleimani. They want blood. And they don't care how many of you they take out along the way. There is a global call for jihad. And these people are in our country just waiting for the word. Listen to Trump sign this document to put the hammer down and to say, no way, no how is Iran going to be able to reach this nuclear capability. Listen.
Sir, this is a national security presidential memorandum that seeks to impose maximum pressure on the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Many of these provisions are similar to actions that your administration took during your first administration. The basic idea here is to have every department and agency, or many departments and agencies in your government attempt to sanction and control Iranian activities, particularly relating to the Iranian nuclear program and the Iranian export of terrorism through support of various proxy groups abroad. And the intent here is to give you all of the possible tools to, I'd say, engage with the Iranian government to ensure that going forward they're less of a malign actor on the world stage.
So this is one that I'm torn about. Everybody wants me to sign it. I'll do that. It's very tough on Iran. It's what we had before. We would have never had the problem. You would have never had October 7th. We would have never had the problem had the election gone a different way, which it should have. But this one, I think, more than made up for it. I think we're doing things, and it shows that more than made up for it, much more historic. The Iran situation, hopefully, I'm going to sign it, but hopefully we're not going to have to use it very much. We will see whether or not we can arrange or work out a deal with Iran, and everybody can live together, and maybe that's possible, and maybe it's not possible. So I'm signing this, and I'm unhappy to do it, but I really have not so much choice because we have to be strong and firm, and I hope that it's not going to have to be used in any great measure at all. It'd be great if we could have a Middle East and maybe a world at total peace. Right now, you don't have that. When I left, you had peace all over the world, and now you have the world is blowing up.
Not only is he giving you unprecedented access inside the Oval Office, he's giving you unprecedented access into the mind and the conflicts facing the President of the United States. He's also sending a message to Iran. We're not fooling around. Would you be open to discussing things with Iran? Would you be open to trying to come up with some kind of an agreement, Mr. President? Next soundbite.
As you know, Bibi is coming in to see me later. Others are coming in to see me. We'll see what we can do. But I'm signing this, and hopefully it will be a document which won't be very important, will hardly have to be used.
So what kind of deal would you be prepared to make?
Well, we're going to see. I mean, we're going to see. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. With me, it's very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. We don't want to be tough on Iran. We don't want to be tough on anybody, but they just can't have a nuclear weapon.
Mr. President, are you going to engage in conversations with your counterpart in Iran?
I would.
Do you want to block the sale of Iranian oil to other nations?
Well, we have the right to do that, and that's what I did before. And they had no money. They wouldn't have had the money for Hamas or Hezbollah and anybody else. It could have been solved. This thing, it just, if things went the way they should have, this would have been over long ago. But it's not over.
How close do you think Iran is to developing a nuclear weapon?
I think they're close. I think they're close. They're too close. But again, you could go back 4 years. I would have said they would have had it during this intervening period. But they're pretty close, Peter.
Now, this is the part the media now are all clamoring about. Listen.
And why say that you're unhappy to sign it if it's Iran and their proxies who have threatened to retaliate against you and your team by killing you guys for taking out Soleimani?
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do. Not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That would be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left. And they shouldn't be able to do it. And Biden should have said that, but he never did. I don't know why. Lack of intelligence, perhaps. But he never said it. If that happens to a leader, or close to a leader, frankly, if you had other people involved also, you would call for total obliteration of a state that did it. That would include Iran. So I'm signing this, and it's a very powerful document, but hopefully we're not going to have to use it.
Total obliteration. And he doesn't just say it once. Listen.
Mr. President, when you said if they do it, they get obliterated. Just to be clear, you're talking about if Iran made an attempt on your life.
Yeah, that would be called total obliteration, and I can't imagine they do that. It should have been stated by Biden, but he didn't state it because he had no clue, as you know, as everybody knows.
A wise and sobering chess move. Iran, I know you're listening. I know you have people here because we're watching you. And if something happens to me, something worse is going to happen to you. Now, over on Truth Social, the president clarified and said this: I want Iran to be a great and successful country, but one that cannot have a nuclear weapon. Reports that the United States, working in conjunction with Israel, is going to blow Iran into smithereens are greatly exaggerated. I would much prefer a verified nuclear peace agreement, which will let Iran peacefully grow and prosper. We should start working on it immediately and have a big Middle East celebration when it is signed and completed. God bless the Middle East. Can you imagine? Not only is he telling the world the objectives and the values that have been lost in the last administration to the rest of the world, the values of these United States, of his leadership. Not only does he warn, you don't want to do that. Trust me. He also says, I will work with you so that you can prosper and your country and its people can be rich and at peace again. This is everything that he is projecting. Peace through strength. When we come back, let's circle back to what he said at the very beginning. The president said at the very beginning, he's talking about this bold vision for peace in Gaza. America can come in. We'll rebuild it. We'll make it safe. We will make Gaza beautiful again. He didn't just spitball that. And I know this, and you will too, when you hear some of the responses from high up people in our government about it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. You never hear that. You don't gain access to that. You don't get an outline of what the president's doing, who he's speaking with, what happened on the call. You don't get him showing you the code, the constitutional snippets that say, under this authority vested in me by this whatever. Pete Hegseth, honest to God, did more in 8 days that were beneficial to we the people than Lloyd Austin did in 4 years. You know what Lloyd Austin did the first week he was in office? Two things. He did the transgender bullshit in the military and something about pronouns and DEI. That was his first week offering to the American people.
Well, Pam Bondi was just sworn in, so
let's go.
And let's go. That's
3 to go. I mean, there's more than that, but 3. Let's go. And the message.
Just think of all of them.
The message is being heard loud and clear by members of Congress.
Oh, yeah.
Loud and clear. And when you have people like Nicole Shanahan jumping in, Elon Musk jumping in, Scott Pressler jumping in. Scott Pressler is a one-man freaking wrecking crew. You want to fiddle with the agenda of the American people that was voted in mandate style in a landslide? We'll send Scott Pressler your way.
You're even starting to see it. For those who don't know, we're in Pittsburgh. You're even starting to see it locally. There's a girl, Erin Copper, I think her name is, that she was heavily involved with Scott Pressler, who's running for county council now. Our county council is out of control. Out of control.
All
we
Democrats.
have one that's only worried about the people in jail. It's ridiculous. They don't want to clean anything up. You're starting to have Republicans going.
Yeah.
Plus,
we got rid of our Republican, GOP guy. And Sam, whatever his face is a 0.
You're starting to see people get involved to the point of they're angry.
Oh,
they're angry what's happening to their neighborhoods.
I'm tired of being pissed all the time. Literally, I'm tired of it.
I don't know what district she's in, but if you're in Pittsburgh, vote her in. She's MAGA 100%. So vote her in. Get rid of these people that only care about the people who break the laws and don't help this city at all. If you're a hindrance on this city or any city out there, Pittsburgh is like any other city. If you're a hindrance, you should not be in office. Our mayor needs to go. I hope someone runs against. He's running against Corey O'Connor. I hope someone runs against Corey O'Connor because
you're going to do exactly what Donald Trump said is going to happen in Gaza. It's the definition of insanity.
Yes.
Stop doing the same goddamn thing.
He already came out. He's not even in office. Come out. He's our controller. Came out and said, we won't work with ICE. Yeah, you will, you son. It's not your say. We're tired of this crap.
Solid.
Every city in America who is run by Democrats are tired of this crap.
Lori Duncan says I'm funny today. Like a clown.
She doesn't know.
Do I amuse
I don't
you?
think she understands humor.
Do you know that was ad-libbed by Joe Pesci? That was not scripted?
Yeah.
No, you did not.
I did.
You so did not. You know what? You lying sack of whatever.
Whatever. Don't make me hit you in the face with a bag of Durbans.
You know what? That is so preposterous what you just
bag of Durbans.
Yeah, I did. No, you didn't.
Bag of Durbans.
Some people will not be saved. Brock, unfortunately, is among them. I've tried, you guys. It's just, come on. I'm swimming upstream like, what?
Wow.
All right, so this is unprecedented. Welcome back, guys, to the Wendy Bell radio program. I really hope you're getting all of this. First of all, I want to tell you about Rapid Response 47. This is a Twitter account. Rapid Response 47. It's I believe an offshoot of the Trump administration. And they just rat-a-tat-tat like headlines, this is what's going on. And they back it up, of course, with documents and excerpts and sound bites and all this stuff. It is a wonderful aggregate of information that if you wish to fact check, et cetera, you can. I've looked into it and it's on the up and up. Okay? So Trump said with Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday, somewhat off the cuff, look, we believe that Gaza can be beautiful. We believe that the people who live there should be able to live in peace. They have been treated so horribly by Hamas. It's just an absolute disaster. And I believe the United States can come in, tear it down, remove the unexploded bombs, and help rebuild it. So it's truly a peaceful, blissful place. So hours after that, it might have been an hour after that, we get this in my inbox from the White House, Washington, for immediate release. This is how quickly they respond. It's crazy. President Trump's plan for peace in Gaza draws praise. Here's what it says. Tonight, President Donald J. Trump announced a bold vision for the United States to secure lasting peace in Gaza. Announced is underlined, so you can click it as a hyperlink and it takes you to the video of what he said. Like what? How responsive. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The killing must stop. And President Trump will finally ensure there is peace. President Trump's visionary proposal and relentless pursuit of peace was immediately praised. And then it goes bop, 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 and it links to all of these people who have said something about it. People who've weighed in on this idea like, what about that? What about Gaza? Why wouldn't we try to go and make it beautiful? Why wouldn't we do so? What? Thinking outside of the box. This is what you get with the meritocracy. You get outside of the box thinking. Former U.S. Ambassador to Israel David Friedman said, Trump's proposed USA takeover of the Gaza Strip may sound out of the box, but it is brilliant, historic, and the only idea I have heard in 50 years that has a chance of bringing security, peace, and prosperity to this troubled region. Former Deputy National Security Advisor Victoria Coates says, today we heard President Trump come out and say what no other American leader has the courage to say before, which is that the United States is willing to step in here and play the leadership role we need to play. News Nation's Leland Vittert, whoever he is, there's a lot of appetite, especially in the United States, to say the way we've been dealing with the Palestinians for the past 50 years hasn't worked. Why not give something new a try? Senator Rick Scott from Florida. Hamas terrorists murdered babies and burned people alive. They are evil monsters. Thank God we finally have a president who's committed to standing with Israel and working with Netanyahu on how to support their efforts to get terrorists out of Gaza and bring every hostage home. Senator Tommy Tuberville, President Trump is fighting for historic and lasting peace. Congressman Chuck Fleischman from Tennessee, American strength, leadership, and vision are back in our foreign policy under President Trump. Congressman Brandon Gill from Texas. President Trump is bringing peace to the Middle East, just as he promised. Promises kept. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Under President Trump, America will be the beacon of peace for the world. It's time to change the Middle East in pursuit of ending endless war. And this is exactly how it's done. Congresswoman Diana Harshbarger. This is what the leader of the free world looks like, folks. President Trump campaigned on securing peace in Gaza, and he is doing just that. Promises made, promises kept. It never gets old. Anna Paulina Luna, Congresswoman from Florida. When President Trump is in charge, America leads, peace prevails, and chaos ends. He is the only leader with the strength to end the bloodshed and bring real peace to the Middle East. While weak politicians have fumbled and fueled both sides of the war, he has taken bold action to restore stability, protect our allies, and put an end to endless wars. President Trump is making America and the whole world safe again. So look, back to the opening monologue. If you're caught off balance by all this and you don't know which way is up, because by golly, it's been so freaking long, believe, because we will achieve. I'll see you next time, tomorrow on the Wendy Bell Radio program. Peace.